Long before the United States of America existed, the vast lands of North America were home to countless Native American tribes. These indigenous people lived here for thousands of years as hunters, fishermen, and farmers, deeply connected to nature and their lands. But everything began to change at the end of the 15th century, when European explorers started looking for new trade routes and territories. In 1492, Christopher Columbus set sail across the Atlantic Ocean, seeking a new route to Asia. But instead, he landed on an unknown continent, the New World. Though Columbus believed he had reached India, he had actually discovered what would later be known as the Americas. Following his voyage, European powers like Spain, France, England, and the Netherlands began establishing colonies in the New World. In 1607, the English founded Jamestown, the first permanent colony, and over the next century, 13 British colonies grew along the Atlantic coast. By the mid-1700s, tensions between the colonies and Britain had reached a breaking point. The British government imposed heavy taxes on the colonies without giving them representation in Parliament. The colonists protested with the slogan, "No taxation without representation." One famous act of defiance was the Boston Tea Party of 1773, when colonists dumped British tea into the harbor in protest. The tension soon erupted into open conflict, marking the beginning of the American Revolution. On July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson. It declared that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Under the leadership of General George Washington, the colonial army fought bravely against the British Empire. After years of struggle, the colonies won their independence in 1783. The United States of America was born, with Washington later becoming its first president in 1789. In the early years, America was a young republic experimenting with democracy. The Constitution of 1787 laid the foundation for a government based on freedom and balance of power. During this time, the country expanded westward, purchasing vast lands through the Louisiana Purchase of 1803 from France, which doubled the nation's size. The Lewis and Clark expedition explored these new territories, mapping rivers, mountains, and native lands. A spirit of exploration and ambition drove Americans westward, fueled by the idea of manifest destiny, the belief that the nation was destined by God to expand across the continent. However, as the country grew, so did its divisions, especially over the issue of slavery. In the North, industrialization created cities and factories, while the South relied heavily on slave labor for its agricultural economy. The moral and political tension over slavery kept rising. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected president, promising to stop the spread of slavery. Southern states saw this as a threat to their way of life and seceded, forming the Confederate States of America. The Civil War broke out in 1861, becoming one of the bloodiest conflicts in American history. The war tore the nation apart, but Lincoln's leadership and determination preserved the Union. In 1863, he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring all enslaved people in Confederate states to be free. By 1865, the Union forces had won. Slavery was abolished, and Lincoln's vision of a united and free America prevailed. Though he would be assassinated shortly after victory, the Civil War left deep scars, but it also set the stage for a new beginning. In the decades after the war, America transformed rapidly. The Industrial Revolution brought massive growth in railroads, factories, and cities. Inventors like Thomas Edison changed everyday life with innovations like the electric light bulb, while business tycoons such as Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller built vast fortunes in steel and oil. This era became known as the Gilded Age, brilliant on the surface but marked by deep social inequality and labor unrest. Immigrants poured into the country seeking opportunity, shaping the cultural diversity of modern America. By the late 1800s, the United States began to look beyond its borders. In 1898, after the Spanish-American War, it gained control of territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines, marking its arrival as a global power. Entering the 20th century, America was an industrial giant, but also a land of dreams and contradictions. During World War I, the U.S. joined the Allies in 1917, tipping the balance toward victory. After the war, the 1920s became an age of change and excitement, the Roaring Twenties. Jazz music, automobiles, Hollywood movies, and women's suffrage symbolized modern American culture. But prosperity turned to despair when the Great Depression struck in. 1929, banks collapsed, unemployment soared, and millions suffered. President Franklin D. Roosevelt responded with the New Deal, a series of programs that reformed the economy and restored public confidence.
America is good country. I need one to support America. What this is nowadays, our America is grow up. This generation of new American country is very tough. I need one. I help Pakistani boys, and with this country are to each other, and 116 to 2020 history inward is in this Indian video to tonight, and watch until enter taking.